My daughter was 38 years old. One morning, she vanished without a trace. Her name was Sofia Maria Ramirez. And that morning, when I woke up and called her name, nobody answered. I am Antonio Jose Ramirez. I am 72 years old. And what I'm about to tell you is something I never thought I would have to say out loud. Something that still makes my hands tremble when I think about it. That morning started like any other morning. I woke up at 6:30. I always wake up at 6:30. My body is old, but it keeps its schedule. I heard birds outside. I heard the neighbor's dog, but I didn't hear Sofia moving around in the kitchen like she always did. Sofia always made coffee at 6:45. Always. For 13 years, since she moved back home to take care of me, she made coffee at 6:45 every single morning. That morning, there was no coffee smell. There was no sound of her footsteps. There was nothing. I got out of bed slowly. My knees hurt. They always hurt in the morning. I put on my robe and I walked to the kitchen. The kitchen was empty. The coffee machine was cold. The cups were still in the cabinet, untouched. I called her name. Sofia? Nothing. Sofia? Still nothing. I walked to her bedroom. My heart was already beating faster. I don't know why. Maybe old men like me can sense when something is wrong. Maybe it's instinct. Maybe it's fear. I opened her bedroom door. Her bed was made. Perfectly made. The corners tucked in like a hotel bed. Sofia never made her bed that perfectly. She was neat, yes, but not hospital corner neat. Not like this. Her phone was on the nightstand. Her purse was on the chair by the window. Her shoes were lined up by the door. Everything was there. Everything, except Sofia. I stood in that doorway for I don't know how long. Maybe 1 minute. Maybe 5. Time does strange things when you're afraid. Then I heard the front door open. Papa? It was my son, Marco. Marco Antonio Ramirez. He's 42 years old. He came walking in with a cup of coffee from the cafe down the street. He was smiling. Papa, good morning, he said. Why are you standing there? I looked at him. Where is Sofia? He took a sip of his coffee. Slow, casual. What do you mean? Sofia, I said again. Your sister. Where is she? Marco shrugged. I don't know, Papa. Maybe she went out early. Maybe she went to the market. Her purse is here. Her phone is here. He shrugged again. Then maybe she went for a walk. You know Sofia, she likes walks. But Sofia didn't like walks. Not early in the morning. Not without her phone. Marco knew that. I knew that. We both knew that. I looked at my son's face. He was calm. Too calm. He was drinking his coffee like nothing was wrong. Like his sister disappearing in the middle of the night was normal. And that's when I knew. I didn't know what, but I knew something. When did you last see her? I asked. Yesterday, Marco said. At dinner. Remember? We all had dinner together. That was true. We did have dinner together. But something about the way he said it made my stomach turn. Call her, I said. What? Call your sister. Call Sofia. Right now. Marco laughed. A small laugh. Nervous, maybe. Papa, I'm sure she's fine. She probably just... Call her. He pulled out his phone. He pressed some buttons. He put it to his ear. We both waited. I could hear the ringing through his phone. It rang 4 times. Then it went to voicemail. "See?" Marco said. "She's probably busy. She'll call back." But I was already walking back to Sophia's room. I was already looking at her phone on the nightstand, and while Marco was calling her, while we were standing in the kitchen listening to it ring, Sophia's phone on the nightstand didn't ring. It didn't light up. It didn't do anything. I picked it up. The screen was black. I pressed the button. Nothing. The battery was dead. I walked back to the kitchen holding Sophia's phone. "Her phone is dead," I said. Marco looked at the phone in my hand. For just a second I saw something in his eyes. Fear, maybe, or surprise. But then it was gone, and he was smiling again. "Then she probably charged it somewhere else," he said. "Papa, you're worrying too much. Sophia's a grown woman. She can take care of herself." But I already knew. Deep in my bones, I already knew my son was lying. Let me tell you about my family. Let me tell you how we got here. My wife, Rosa, died 5 years ago. Cancer. It took her fast. 6 months from diagnosis to the end. Sophia was the one who took care of her. Sophia put her life on hold. She quit her job in the city. She moved back home. She spent every day with her mother, cooking, cleaning, helping her to the bathroom, holding her hand. Marco came to visit twice, once at the beginning, once at the end. After Rosa died, Sophia stayed. She said, "Papa, you can't live alone. I'll stay with you." I told her no. I told her to go back to the city, find a new job, live her life. But she wouldn't listen. She said family takes care of family. She said that's what Mama would have wanted. So Sophia stayed. For 5 years she stayed. She cooked my meals, she drove me to doctor appointments, she made sure I took my pills, she read to me in the evenings. She was the daughter every father dreams of. Marco, on the other hand, Marco was different. Marco always had big ideas, big plans. He opened a restaurant when he was 25. It failed in 8 months. He started an import business when he was 30. It failed in a year. He invested in real estate when he was 35. He lost everything. Every time something failed, he came to me. "Papa, I need money, just a loan. I'll pay you back." And every time, I gave it to him. Because he was my son. Because I loved him. Because I believed that one day he would figure it out. But he never did. 2 years ago, Marco met a woman. Her name was Vanessa Cruz. She was 28 years old. Beautiful, the kind of beautiful that costs money. Designer clothes, expensive jewelry, perfect nails, perfect hair. The first time Marco brought her to the house, Sophia pulled me aside. She whispered, "Papa, be careful. That woman looks at Marco like he's a lottery ticket." I told Sophia not to judge. I told her that Marco deserved to be happy. But in my heart, I knew Sophia was right. Vanessa didn't love Marco. Vanessa loved what she thought Marco had. And what did she think Marco had? She thought Marco was going to inherit everything. The house, the land, the savings, everything. But here's what nobody knew. Here's the secret I kept for 12 years. 12 years ago, I changed my will. I didn't tell anyone. Not Sophia, not Marco, not even Rosa, God rest her soul. I changed the will because I saw what Marco was becoming. I saw the failed businesses, I saw the debts, I saw the way he spent money like water. And I knew that if I left him everything, it would be gone in a year, gambled away, invested in some stupid scheme, wasted. So I changed the will. Everything, the house, the land, the savings, all of it goes to charity. to a children's hospital, to a trust fund for my grandchildren if Sophia ever has children, but not to Marco, and not even to Sophia, because I knew she would try to give it all to her brother out of guilt. I also wrote a letter that said, if anyone ever tried to force me to change the will, if anyone ever tried to make me sign something under pressure or threats, the letter would invalidate it. I gave the letter to my lawyer. I told him to open it only if something seemed wrong. Nobody knew about this. Nobody. But Marco thought he knew. Marco thought Sophia was getting everything. He saw her living in the house. He saw her taking care of me. He saw the way I looked at her with pride, and he decided that wasn't fair. If you're still watching this, if this story is touching something in your heart, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Because what I'm about to tell you gets darker. And I need to know there are people out there who understand what it means to be betrayed by your own blood. That first day Sophia was gone, I called the police at noon. Marco told me not to. He said, "Papa, you're overreacting. Sophia probably just needed space. You know how she gets." But I knew my daughter. Sophia didn't get anyway. Sophia was steady, reliable, predictable. If Sophia was going somewhere, she would tell me. She would leave a note. She would take her phone. The police came. 2 officers, young men who looked like they graduated from the academy last week. They asked questions, they wrote things down, they looked around Sophia's room. "Any signs of struggle?" one asked. "No," I said. "Any reason she might want to leave?" "No." "Any problems in the family?" I looked at Marco. He was standing in the doorway, watching us. His face was blank. "No," I said. The officers said they would file a report. They said to call if Sophia showed up or if I remembered anything important. Then they left. Marco made dinner that night. Pasta. He wasn't a good cook like Sophia, but he tried. We sat at the kitchen table, the 2 of us. The 3rd chair was empty. "Papa," Marco said. "I'm worried about you." I looked at him. "I'm worried about your sister." "I know, but I'm also worried about you. You're getting older. This house is big. Sophia was doing everything for you. Maybe this is a sign." "A sign of what?" "A sign that you need more help, professional help. Maybe it's time to think about a care facility, somewhere with nurses, somewhere safe." I put down my fork. "You want to put me in a home?" "I want you to be safe, Papa. I'm safe here." "Are you?" Marco leaned forward. "Sophia is gone. You don't know where she is. You can't take care of yourself alone. What if something happens to you? Sophia will come back. What if she doesn't?" We stared at each other across the table. In that moment, I saw something in my son's eyes. Something cold. Something calculating. "What did you do, Marco?" I asked quietly. "What? What did you do to your sister?" He laughed, but it wasn't a real laugh. "Papa, you're being paranoid. I didn't do anything. I'm trying to help you." But I didn't believe him. Not for 1 second. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. I kept thinking about Sophia's room, about the perfectly made bed, about her phone and her purse left behind. I kept thinking about Marco's face, about the way he smiled when he said Sophia probably went for a walk, about the way he changed the subject when I asked what he did. At 3 in the morning, I got up. I walked to Marco's old room. He was staying in the house now, in his childhood bedroom. He said it was to keep me company, to make sure I was okay while Sophia was gone. But I knew the real reason. He was here to watch me, to control me. I stood outside his door and listened. I could hear him inside, talking on the phone. His voice was low, but I could make out some words. Tomorrow, yes. Keep her there. No, he doesn't suspect anything. My blood ran cold. My son had done something to Sophia. I knew it now. I knew it for certain. But what? And why? The next morning, Marco made breakfast, eggs and toast. He was being too nice, too helpful, too present. Papa, I made some calls yesterday, he said as he put a plate in front of me. I found a really good care facility about 20 minutes from here. They have a spot available. I thought maybe we could go visit it this afternoon, just to look, no pressure. I'm not going anywhere, I said. Just to look, Papa, that's all. No. Marco's smile faded a little. Papa, be reasonable. You can't stay here alone. I'm not alone. Sophia will come back. What if she doesn't? He said it again, the same question from last night. What if Sophia decided she doesn't want to take care of you anymore? What if she got tired of putting her life on hold? Sophia would never... People change, Papa. People get tired. People leave. He was trying to plant doubt in my mind, trying to make me believe Sophia abandoned me. But I knew my daughter. I knew her heart. Where is she, Marco? I asked. I don't know. You're lying. Papa, you're lying and I know it. Marco stood up. His chair scraped against the floor. I'm trying to help you, he said. His voice was harder now, angry. I'm the only one here. I'm the one taking care of you now. Maybe you should be grateful instead of accusing me. He left the kitchen. I heard him go into his room and slam the door. I sat there alone, looking at my half-eaten eggs. I thought about my family. I thought about when Marco was a little boy. He was sweet back then, loving. He used to climb into my lap and ask me to tell him stories. He used to bring me drawings from school. He used to say, Papa, when I grow up, I want to be just like you. What happened to that little boy? Where did he go? Tell me in the comments where you're watching this from. Tell me if you've ever felt betrayed by someone you loved, because I need to know I'm not alone in this. On the third day, I did something I'm not proud of. I went through Marco's room while he was out. I know, a father shouldn't snoop on his son, but my daughter was missing, and my son was lying, and I was running out of options. I found his phone on the dresser. He forgot it when he left, or maybe he didn't think it mattered. Maybe he didn't think his 72-year-old father would know how to check it. But I'm old, not stupid. I opened his phone. I know his passcode because I saw him type it in 100 times. 1989, the year he was born. I went to his messages. I scrolled through conversations with people I didn't know. Friends, coworkers, Vanessa. Then I found something. A conversation with someone named Tony C. I didn't recognize the name. I opened it. The messages made my stomach drop. She's secure. No problems. Good. Keep it that way. Papa can't know. What about the documents? Working on it. He's stubborn, but he'll crack. Just keep her quiet. She keeps asking for her phone. Don't give it to her. I'll handle Papa. I read the messages 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Each time they said the same thing. My son had my daughter somewhere. He was keeping her prisoner, and he was planning something with these documents. I took photos of the messages with my own phone. My hands were shaking so bad I had to try 3 times to get a clear picture. Then I heard the front door open. Marco was back. I put his phone exactly where I found it. I walked out of his room and into the hallway. I was trying to look normal, trying to look like I hadn't just discovered my son's crime. "Papa?" Marco called. "Where are you?" "Bathroom," I said. My voice cracked a little. I went into the bathroom and closed the door. I looked at myself in the mirror. My face was pale. My eyes were wide. I looked like I'd seen a ghost. But I hadn't seen a ghost. I'd seen the truth. When I came out, Marco was in the kitchen. He had bags of groceries. "I bought your favorite," he said. "That bread you like from the bakery. And I got ingredients for chicken soup. I know Sophia usually makes it, but I can try." He was being nice again, playing the good son. But I'd seen his messages. I knew what he was. "Thank you," I said. The words tasted like poison in my mouth. That night, Marco made the soup. It wasn't as good as Sophia's. Nothing would ever be as good as Sophia's. But I ate it anyway. I needed to act normal. I needed him to think I didn't know anything. While we ate, Marco talked. He talked about the care facility. He talked about how nice it was, how they had activities and nurses and good food. He painted a picture like I'd be on vacation instead of locked away so he could do whatever he wanted with my house, with my money, with my life. "Vanessa came with me to look at it," he said. "She thought it was beautiful." "Vanessa," I repeated. "Yes, you know, Papa, Vanessa and I have been talking about the future, about getting married, maybe." "Married?" "Yes, and, well, we'll need a place to live. This house is so big, too big for one old man, but for a family, for kids someday, it would be perfect." There it was, the real reason. He wanted the house. He wanted everything. And he thought Sophia was the only thing standing in his way. "What about Sophia?" I asked. Marco's face changed, just for a second. "What about her?" "When she comes back, this is her home too." "Papa, I told you. What if she doesn't come back? What if she's decided to move on? You have to prepare yourself for that possibility." "She would tell me," I said. "She wouldn't just leave." People do things we don't expect, Papa. People surprise us. He was gaslighting me. That's what they call it now. Making me doubt my own mind, my own daughter. But I wouldn't let him. After dinner, I went to my room. I closed the door. I looked at the photos on my phone, the messages between Marco and Tony C. I needed to find Sophia. I needed to find her now. But I'm 72 years old. I have bad knees and high blood pressure. I can't just go breaking down doors and fighting criminals. I needed help. I needed the police. But would they believe me? Would they look at an old man with printed text messages and take it seriously? Or would Marco convince them I was senile, confused, making things up? I decided to wait, to gather more evidence, to be smart about this. The next morning, I pretended everything was normal. Marco made breakfast again, oatmeal this time. I ate it. I smiled. I thanked him. "Papa, I want to take you somewhere today," he said. "Where?" "To see the care facility. Just to look, I promise. Just to look."
"I already told you no. Papa, please, for me. Just come see it. If you don't like it, we'll never talk about it again." I could see he wasn't going to let this go. And maybe, I thought, if I go along with it, he'll let his guard down. He'll make a mistake. "Fine," I said. "I'll look." Marco's face lit up. "Really?" "Really. But I'm not promising anything." "That's all I ask, Papa. That's all I ask." We drove to the facility in Marco's car.
It was about 20 minutes away, like he said. A big building with white walls and a garden out front. It looked nice enough. Like a hotel, almost. Marco parked and we went inside. A woman at the desk greeted us. Her name was Patricia. She had a fake smile and a clipboard. "You must be Mr. Ramirez," she said to me. "Your son has told us so much about you." I nodded. I didn't trust myself to speak. Patricia gave us a tour. She showed us the rooms, small but clean. She showed us the dining hall, bright but institutional. She showed us the activity room, bingo and puzzles and painting classes. "We have a wonderful community here," Patricia said. "Our residents are very happy." The residents I saw didn't look happy. They looked drugged. They looked like they were waiting to die. "What do you think, Papa?" Marco asked. He had his hand on my shoulder, squeezing a little too tight. "It's nice," I said. "See? I told you, you'd be very comfortable here." After the tour, we went to an office. A man in a suit was waiting. His name was Mr. Davidson. He was the director. "Mr. Ramirez, please sit. Let's talk about the arrangement." "Arrangement?" I said. "Your son explained your situation, that you're having trouble at home, that you need assistance. We have a room available immediately. We can have you moved in by the end of the week." I looked at Marco. He was smiling. "I haven't decided anything," I said. Of course," Mr. Davidson said. "But there is some paperwork we'd need you to sign. Just preliminary, to hold the room, to start the process." He slid some papers across the desk. I looked down at them. There were a lot of words. Legal words. Words I didn't fully understand. "I need my lawyer to look at this," I said. Marco's smile tightened. "Papa, that's not necessary. This is standard. I want my lawyer." "Mr. Ramirez," said Mr. Davidson in a smooth voice, "I assure you this is all very standard. Many families. I want my lawyer." There was a long silence. Marco and Mr. Davidson looked at each other. Something passed between them, something I couldn't quite read. Of course, Mr. Davidson finally said. "Take the papers home. Have your lawyer review them. No rush." But there was a rush. I could feel it. They wanted me to sign now. They wanted me locked away now. Before I could figure out what they'd done with Sophia. We drove home in silence. Marco's hands were tight on the steering wheel. His jaw was clenched. When we got back to the house, he went straight to his room and closed the door. I heard him on the phone again. His voice was angry. I went to my room and I called my lawyer. His name was David Castellanos. He'd been my lawyer for 30 years. He knew about the will. He knew about the letter. He was one of the few people I trusted completely. "Antonio," he said when he answered. "How are you?"
"David, I need your help." I told him everything. About Sophia disappearing, about Marco's lies, about the messages on his phone, about the care facility, about the papers they wanted me to sign. David listened. He didn't interrupt. When I finished, there was a long pause. "Antonio," he said finally, "do not sign anything. Do you understand me? Nothing. Not even if Marco tells you it's just a grocery list." "I won't. And I'm calling the police. What you've described, this is kidnapping. This is fraud. This is serious." "Will they believe me?" "With those text messages? Yes. They'll have to investigate." "Marco is my son," I said. My voice broke a little. "He's my son, David." I know, my friend. But right now, Sophia needs you, and you need to be strong." He was right.
I couldn't fall apart. Not now. That evening, 2 detectives came to the house. Detective Rodriguez and Detective Chen. They were older than the officers who came before, more experienced, more serious. Marco was furious. Papa, why did you call them again? Sophia is an adult. She has the right to go where she wants. She left her phone and her purse. She didn't tell anyone. Something is wrong. The detectives asked to speak to me alone. We went into the living room. Marco stayed in the kitchen, but I could feel him listening. I showed them the photos of the text messages. I showed them the papers from the care facility. I told them everything. Detective Rodriguez wrote everything down. Detective Chen looked at Marco's text messages for a long time. Do you know who Tony C. is? She asked. No, I said. We'll find out, she said.
They asked more questions about Marco, about his finances, about Vanessa, about the inheritance, about everything. When they were done, Detective Rodriguez looked at me very seriously. Mr. Ramirez, I want you to listen carefully. If your son is involved in your daughter's disappearance, you could be in danger. Do you have somewhere else you can stay? I thought about it. I could stay with my neighbor, Mrs. Garcia, or with my cousin in the next town, but if I left, Marco would know something was wrong. He'd move Sophia, or worse. I need to stay here, I said. If I leave, he'll know, and I don't know what he'll do to Sophia. The detectives looked at each other. We're going to put surveillance on the house, Detective Chen said, and we're going to trace these numbers. We'll find your daughter, Mr. Ramirez. After they left, Marco came into the living room. His face was red. What did you tell them? He demanded. The truth, I said. The truth? What truth? That you're a paranoid old man who thinks your son is a criminal? I know what you did, Marco. I didn't do anything. I saw your messages. I know about Tony. I know you have Sophia somewhere. Marco's face went white. For a second, he didn't say anything. Then he laughed, a bitter, angry laugh. You went through my phone? He said. Where is she, Marco? You had no right. Where is your sister? She left, Papa. She left because she couldn't take it anymore. She couldn't take you anymore. Your constant demands, your neediness. She wanted a life. That's a lie. Is it? Or is it just the truth you don't want to hear? He was trying to turn this on me, trying to make me the villain. But I knew better. The police are going to find her, I said. And when they do, you're going to prison. Marco stared at me for a long moment. Then he turned and walked out. I heard the front door slam. I heard his car start. I heard him drive away. I sat in the living room alone, shaking. My son. My boy. What had he become? If you're still with me, if you're following the story, leave a comment. Tell me if you think people can change. Tell me if you think there's redemption for someone like Marco. Because I don't know anymore. I don't know anything anymore. That night, I barely slept. I kept my door locked. I kept my phone on the nightstand. I kept thinking about Sophia, wherever she was. Was she scared? Was she hurt? Was she still alive? I couldn't think about that last one. I had to believe she was alive. In the morning, Marco wasn't there. His car was gone. His room was empty. I called Detective Chen. He left, I said. Marco left. We know, she said. We've been watching. We have units following him. Where did he go? We're finding out. Mr. Ramirez, we've been running the number. Tony C.,
His full name is Antonio Cardona. He has a record: assault, extortion. He's a bad guy. Where does he live? We're working on that. But Mr. Ramirez, we also found something else. What? Your son has been forging documents, powers of attorney, transfer deeds. He's been preparing to take everything from you. My heart sank. I already knew Marco was after the inheritance, but hearing it confirmed, hearing the details, it was like a knife in my chest. There's more, Detective Chen said. We checked property records. Your family owns a small property outside the city, an old storage facility. Your wife's father left it to her years ago.
I forgot about that place, I said. We haven't used it in decades. We think that's where he's holding Sophia. I stood up. My knees screamed, but I didn't care. We have to go there, I said. Now. We're organizing a team. We'll move within the hour. But Mr. Ramirez, you can't come. This is police business. That's my daughter. I know, and we will bring her home, I promise you. I wanted to argue. I wanted to drive there myself, but I knew she was right. I'd only get in the way. So I waited. I waited in that house for 3 hours, the longest 3 hours of my life. I paced the living room. I stared at my phone. I prayed to God and to Rosa and to anyone who would listen. Finally, my phone rang. Mr. Ramirez, this is Detective Rodriguez. We found her. I couldn't breathe. Is she... She's alive. She's safe. We're bringing her to the hospital to check her out, but she's okay. I started crying, right there on the phone. I'm not ashamed to say it. I cried like a baby. Thank you, I kept saying. Thank you, thank you. We also arrested Antonio Cardona and your son Marco. They're in custody. What were they doing to her? Detective Rodriguez was quiet for a moment. They had her in a basement. They were trying to force her to sign documents, trying to get her to help them forge your signature. She refused. She's very brave, your daughter. Can I see her? They're taking her to St. Mary's Hospital. You can meet her there. I called my neighbor, Mrs. Garcia. I asked her to drive me to the hospital. I couldn't drive myself. My hands were shaking too much. At the hospital, they took me to Sophia's room. She was lying in a bed with an IV in her arm. She had bruises on her wrists, dark circles under her eyes. But when she saw me, she smiled. Papa, she said. I went to her bedside and I took her hand. Mija, I said. My girl. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's not your fault, she said. Papa, it's not your fault. Tell me what happened, I said. Tell me everything. And she did. She told me that 3 nights ago, Marco came to her room after I'd gone to sleep. He told her he needed to show her something outside, something wrong with the fence. She went with him, thinking it was innocent. But when they got outside, Tony was waiting. He grabbed her. He put something over her mouth. She tried to scream, but nobody heard. They took her to the old storage property. They locked her in the basement. No windows, 1 light, a mattress on the floor. Marco came every day. He brought her food, water, and papers. Sign these, he kept saying. Sign these and you can go home. The papers said she agreed to transfer her power of attorney to Marco. That she agreed the father was incompetent. That she agreed he needed to be in a care facility and Marco should control all the finances. I wouldn't sign, Sophia said. I told him you weren't incompetent. I told him he was crazy. He got so angry, Papa. I've never seen him like that. Did he hurt you? I asked. Tony did. When Marco wasn't there, he would grab my wrists, twist them. He said if I didn't cooperate, they'd hurt you next.
they'd make it look like an accident. My blood ran cold. But I knew, Sophia continued, I knew if I signed, you'd be in even more danger. So I refused. I kept refusing.
How did the police find you?
I don't know. I just heard noise upstairs. Yelling. Then the door broke open and there were police everywhere. They arrested Tony right there. He tried to fight, but they tackled him. And Marco? They said they got him on the highway. He was trying to run. I closed my eyes. My son had done this. Sophia squeezed my hand. Papa, I'm so sorry. About Marco. I know he's your son. I know you love him. I love you more, I said. You're the one who stayed. You're the one who cared. You're the real family. We sat there for a while, holding hands, not saying anything. Sometimes words aren't necessary. The doctors wanted to keep Sophia overnight for observation. I stayed with her. I didn't leave her side. The next morning, Detective Chen came to the hospital. She had news. We searched the storage facility, she said. We found forged documents, transfer deeds, a fake will, all in your name, Mr. Ramirez. Marco was planning to have you declared incompetent, put you in the care facility, and take control of everything. How long has he been planning this? I asked. At least 6 months. He's been working with Tony and with Vanessa. She was in on it too. We arrested her this morning. Sophia made a small noise. I knew she was trouble. Marco is claiming he was trying to protect the family assets, that Sophia was manipulating you, that you weren't in your right mind. That's insane, Sophia said. We know, especially once we talked to your father's lawyer. Mr. Castellanos provided some very interesting information. I looked at her. The letter? Yes, and the will. The real will. Detective Chen looked at Sophia. Did you know your father changed his will 12 years ago? Sophia looked at me, confused. No, Sophia said. Changed it how? I took a deep breath. Mija, I need to tell you something. Something I should have told you a long time ago. Sophia's eyes widened. Papa, what is it? 12 years ago, I changed my will. Everything. The house, the land, the savings. It doesn't go to you. It doesn't go to Marco. It goes to charity, to a children's hospital, to a trust for your children, if you ever have them, but not to you directly. Sophia stared at me. Papa, I don't understand. I did it because I saw what Marco was becoming. I saw the greed, the failed businesses, the debts. I knew if I left him money, it would destroy him. He'd waste it all in a year. But why not leave it to me? Sophia asked. Her voice was small. Because I know you, Mija. I know your heart. If I left everything to you, you'd give half to Marco out of guilt, out of love. You'd try to save him from himself, and he'd drag you down with him. Tears filled Sophia's eyes. I don't know what to say. There's more, Detective Chen said. Your father also wrote a letter, a legal document that says if anyone tries to force him to change his will, if anyone tries to make him sign documents under duress, the letter invalidates everything. It protects him, and it protects his wishes. So Marco, Sophia said slowly, Marco kidnapped me. He tried to force me to help him steal an inheritance that doesn't even exist? Yes, I said. Everything he did, everything he risked, it was all for nothing. Sophia started laughing, not a happy laugh, a shocked, bitter laugh. He destroyed his life for nothing. He committed crimes for nothing. He kidnapped his own sister for money that was already gone. He didn't know, I said. Nobody knew. Detective Chen closed her notebook. Mr. Ramirez, the district attorney wants to meet with you. They're building a case against Marco Antonio Cardona and Vanessa Cruz. Kidnapping, fraud, conspiracy, extortion. They're looking at serious prison time. How much time? I asked. Marco could be looking at 20 years, maybe more. 20 years. My son would be over 60 when he got out. An old man. His life wasted. But what choice did I have? He'd kidnapped Sophia. He'd tried to rob me. He'd threatened violence. He was my son, but he'd become a monster. I'll testify, I said. I'll tell them everything. After Detective Chen left, Sophia and I sat in silence. Papa, why didn't you tell me about the will? I wanted you to take care of me because you loved me, not because you were waiting for an inheritance. And you did. You stayed. You gave up years of your life, not for money, for family. I don't care about the money, Sophia said. I never did. I know. That's why you're the daughter I'm proud of. Sophia squeezed my hand. What happens now? I said, now we go home. We heal. We move forward. And Marco? I was quiet for a long time. Marco made his choices. Now he has to live with them. They released Sophia from the hospital that afternoon. Mrs. Garcia drove us home. When we pulled up to the house, I saw yellow police tape across the door to the old storage property down the street. Evidence markers. Police cars. Inside our house, everything looked the same, but it felt different. Smaller somehow. Emptier. Sophia made coffee. We sat at the kitchen table, the same table where Marco had tried to convince me to go to the care facility, the same table where we'd eaten dinner as a family, back when we were still a family. Papa, I need to tell you something.
What is it? When I was in that basement, when Marco would come and try to get me to sign the papers, he'd say things about you. What kind of things? He said you always loved me more, that you never believed in him, that you gave me everything and gave him nothing. I felt my chest tighten. That's not true. I know, Papa, but is there some truth in it? Did you love me more? I thought about it, really thought about it. I loved you differently, I said finally. You were easy to love, Sophia. You were kind, responsible. You stayed when things got hard. Marco was always running, always chasing something. I loved him. God knows I loved him. But I couldn't trust him. And maybe he felt that. Maybe that hurt him. He used to be different, Sophia said. When we were kids, he was protective of me. Sweet. Do you remember? I did remember. I remembered Marco at 7 years old holding Sophia's hand on the first day of school. I remembered him teaching her to ride a bike. I remembered him scaring away boys who were mean to her. When did it change? When did my son become a stranger? Money changes people. Or maybe it just reveals who they always were. Over the next few weeks, life slowly returned to something like normal. Sophia cooked, I took my pills, we went to doctor appointments, we watched television in the evenings. But Marco's absence was a presence. Every time I walked past his old room, every time the phone rang and it wasn't him, every time I thought about what he'd done. The district attorney's office called. They wanted me to come in and give a formal statement. Sophia came with me. The prosecutor was a young woman named Lisa Martinez. She had kind eyes, but a serious demeanor. Mr. Ramirez, thank you for coming in. I know this is difficult. I want to do what's right, I said. Your son's attorney has approached us about a plea deal. My heart jumped. What kind of deal? He wants Marco to plead guilty to reduced charges, conspiracy and fraud, not kidnapping. In exchange, they're asking for a 10-year sentence instead of 20. What does that mean for Sophia? I asked. It means she wouldn't have to testify. It means a guaranteed conviction without a trial. It means this ends sooner. I looked at Sophia. What do you think? I want it to be over, she said quietly. I don't want to sit in a courtroom and relive it.
I don't want to see him. But 10 years, I said, for kidnapping his own sister? Papa, he's still your son, and 10 years is a long time. He'll be in his 50s when he gets out. Maybe he'll change. I didn't believe Marco would change, but I believed in Sophia's kind heart. Okay, I said to Miss Martinez, we'll accept the plea deal. There's one more thing, Miss Martinez said. Marco has asked to see you, both of you, before sentencing. No, Sophia said immediately. Absolutely not. Sophia, I said. No, Papa, I can't. I can't see him. You don't have to, Miss Martinez said. But Mr. Ramirez, you could go alone if you wanted to. Did I? Did I want to see my son in a prison jumpsuit? Did I want to hear what he had to say? I'll think about it. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Marco as a little boy, about teaching him to throw a baseball, about his first day of school, about his graduation, about all the moments when I'd been proud of him, about all the moments when I'd failed him.
Because I had failed him, hadn't I? Somewhere along the way. Maybe I'd been too hard on him. Maybe I'd compared him to Sophia too much. Maybe I'd made him feel like he'd never be good enough. Or maybe that was just an excuse. Maybe Marco made his own choices. Maybe he was responsible for his own actions. I didn't know anymore. 3 days later, I went to the county jail. They took me through metal detectors, through locked doors, through hallways that smelled like disinfectant and despair. They put me in a small room with a table and 2 chairs. There was a window in the door. A guard stood outside. Then they brought Marco in. He looked terrible. His hair was greasy. His face was pale. He lost weight. The orange jumpsuit hung off him like a costume. He sat down across from me. For a long moment, we just looked at each other. Papa, he finally said. Marco. Thank you for coming. I didn't think you would. I almost didn't. He nodded. He looked down at his hands. They were cuffed together on the table. I'm sorry, he said. Sorry for what, exactly? For everything. For Sophia, for lying to you, for all of it. Do you understand what you did, Marco? You kidnapped your sister, your own sister. You locked her in a basement. You tried to steal from me. You were going to put me in a home against my will. I know. So, why? Why did you do it? Marco was quiet for a long time. When he finally spoke, his voice was barely a whisper. Because I'm a failure. Because everything I've ever tried to do has fallen apart. Because I'm 42 years old and I have nothing. No career, no money, no future. And I looked at Sophia and I saw someone who had everything. Your love, your trust, your house. And I couldn't stand it. So you decided to take it. I told myself I deserved it. I told myself it wasn't fair that she got everything just because she stayed, just because she played the good daughter. I told myself a lot of things, Papa. And Vanessa, what did you tell her? Marco's face twisted. Vanessa didn't care about me. She cared about money. I was stupid. I thought she loved me, but she just saw an opportunity. You were going to marry her. I was going to be rich, or I thought I was. And she was beautiful, and I wanted to feel like a success. Just once in my life. Just once I wanted to be the winner. I looked at my son. This broken, foolish man who destroyed his life for nothing. Marco, I need to tell you something.
Something you don't know. What? The inheritance you were trying to steal? It doesn't exist. I changed my will 12 years ago. Everything goes to charity, to a trust for future grandchildren. There's nothing for you. There's nothing for Sophia. You risked everything for money that was already gone. Marco stared at me. His face went through several expressions. Shock, disbelief, then something like despair. You're joking, he said. I'm not joking. I gave the will to my lawyer years ago, when I saw what you were becoming, when I saw the debts and the schemes and the greed. So I did all this for nothing. Yes. Marco started laughing, a horrible, broken laugh. Nothing. It was all for nothing.
And even if the money still existed, I wrote a letter, a legal document, that says if anyone forces me to sign anything under duress, it's invalid. So even if you'd succeeded, you would have gotten nothing. Marco put his head in his cuffed hands. His shoulders shook. I couldn't tell if he was laughing or crying. "Why didn't you tell me?" he finally asked. "Why didn't you just tell me there was no money? I wouldn't have what? Kidnapped your sister? Tried to rob your own father? Marco, if you only didn't do those things because there was no money, then you're exactly who I thought you were." "I'm your son," he said. His voice was desperate now. "I'm your son, and you gave up on me. I gave you every chance, every opportunity, every loan, every word of encouragement, but you threw it all away. And when that wasn't enough, you committed crimes. You hurt Sophia. You threatened me. I didn't give up on you, Marco. You gave up on yourself." "So what now?" he asked. "I go to prison for 10 years and then what? I come out and there's nothing? No family, no home, no money? What's the point?" "The point is that you pay for what you did. The point is that maybe, if you're lucky, you learn something. You change. You become a better man." "I don't know how to do that, Papa. I don't know how to be better." "Then you figure it out. You have 10 years. Use them." Marco looked at me with red eyes. "Do you forgive me?" I thought about that question. Did I forgive him? Could I forgive him? "I don't know," I said honestly. "Maybe someday, but not today. Today, I'm too angry, too hurt, too disappointed." "And Sophia?" "Sophia doesn't want to see you. She doesn't want to talk to you. Maybe that will change. Maybe it won't. But you have to accept that you destroyed that relationship. Maybe forever." Marco nodded slowly. Tears ran down his face. "I understand. I hope you do. I really hope you do." I stood up. Marco looked up at me.